Hi, my name is Ron Dorn, and this is an overview presentation about a component of PUP 200 as it relates to the Arts and Humanities requirement for graduation at ASU. The requirement for Arts and Humanities specifies three different components that need to be covered: critical analysis, perspectives and values, and ethical thinking. But there is enough flexibility to weave these three themes through the lens of a particular discipline. And in this case, I'm going to explain very briefly the concept of urban humanities as it relates to the field of urban planning. PUP is an urban planning course. And so this is an overview or introduction to how different themes of the humanities and arts weave together. It's a perspective to unpack before you dig in to the movie modules. Urban humanities sounds new, and the term is kind of sort of new, and it's a growing subfield in urban planning. But arts and culture have always been a part of urban planning, and it's always been a part of urban design. So there are certainly new books that are being written on new practices for reimagining the city through urban humanities. And there's a conference in Tucson in 2023 on a global unconference on urban humanities. And the idea here is that scholars and practitioners around the world have been frustrated a little bit with the social science dynamics of urban planning, and they want to bring out the arts and humanities aspect of it. But this desire for arts and humanities as a part of the social creation of cities is very old. Just look at Bath, England. It's a seasonal city of leisure, it's architecturally innovative, and it's in the mid 18th century. Or even going back further, the wall as a part of arts and humanities is a defining boundary, and it's deeply tied in as art and humanities in an early vision of a city, such as in France or in Beijing's Forbidden City. Just look at railways in cities, in architecture and in art. It's the social science function and the form of art that comes together through American architectures of modernity in the late 19th century and earliest 20th century. So urban humanities is always changing. Just think about graffiti. It represents an art form that's unrestricted. It rebels against conventional forms of art, and it's intertwined with the human history, dating back to the Roman Empire to state a message that doesn't fit the norms of society. There's different styles of graffiti to look at. Graffiti artists have a theme and a style unto their own. So urban humanities' goal is to broaden urban planning and the views of cities well beyond social science that focuses on data and methods. So since we've entered the urban century, where more than half of humanity lives in cities, following a century of continuous dominated urban growth, the field of urban humanities indicates that it's time for a renewed turn towards more culturally, linguistically, and historically oriented understanding of urban form and urban cities. And there's no argument in the field of urban planning. Urban planners do definitely consider art and culture as a form of planning practice. And if you pause this presentation and you look at table 1, dimensions of art and culture, professionalism, productivity, locations, participation, involvement, it's all part of urban planning. One example, participatory and socially engaged youth arts. The impact is to raise self-esteem, develop skills, career development, reduce risk-taking behavior. All these reasons are why arts matter, especially in a context of cities. Certainly art and urban culture have always gone together, whether it's the Museum of Modern Art or whether it's Google's arts and culture web pages that portrays things much more vibrantly through online exhibits of street art and community, how it all ties together. So the theme of urban humanities is both new in that it's been renamed and revitalized by academics, but it's also just been reclothed. Or does it really matter if it's new or if it's old? Just think about urban design. Is it humanities or it's a social science? Urban design is the design of towns and cities, streets and spaces. It's a collaborative, multidisciplinary process shaping the physical setting of urban life, the art of making places. Urban design involves the design of buildings, groups of buildings, spaces, landscapes, establishing the framework and procedures to deliver successful development by people over time. It's very greatly in different cultures. It inspires, it illustrates, it defines society and groups. It brings investors together, developers, and wider society. So this class focuses on the art and values aspects of urban design in movies. Go ahead and pause the presentation and then think about the way in which the setting of the film as it relates to the urban design is carried out. Because certainly the film setting in cities definitely relates to how that urban space has been designed and why the filmmaker decides to portray it the way she or he does. So urban humanities is a way in which the three different elements of this arts and humanities requirement can just come together and can be explored in the context of the cultural creation of movies. So this is just a start of urban humanities perspectives that will play out throughout the different course, movies, faculty presentations, and readings. Thank you for your patience.